lean towards Meteor a little bit, actually. I think the lanes coming out here are maybe a little bit better for Meteor. Like, you've got Doom Enchantress coming out. Your Doom is dodging out the Monkey King lane, for one thing, not going off lane. So you kind of ignore this favorable matchup for the Monkey King. The Monkey King versus Lycan lane, still on paper pretty decent, but if you do get value points in Howl, Monkey King is a hero that gets really hurt by base damage reduction. Like, it does impact his farm, it impacts his harassment that he kind of wants to do with Jingu and the Boundless Strike. So you have quite some presence up there. You also have the Phoenix that acts as a really good foil for that lane. If you land your Fire Spirits, then the Monkey has no threat. So I think it's all down to execution, and you do have a point. It's a little bit easier to execute on iG.V, but I think the timings are more forgiving on the side of Meteor. Like, even if you miss out and you equalize only in the mid game, as long as you pull ahead later on, which you theoretically will with Doom 1, eventually you will hit this point where AoE Doom's up, Dream Coil will pierce spell immunity, and you're kind of dancing around everyone. There's no clear answer for that from iG.V.
That's fair. We'll see how this game does kind of pan out. I think the point you raised about Howl is something I didn't really think about at all. Like, that is going to be a really annoying ability for all of iG.V to deal with. Like, the Prophet and the Monkey King both rely on their base damage quite a bit. And that 40% reduction on Howl, considering it's global at night as well, it's going to be really annoying to play against. Let's see, though. Game number 1 between these two teams. See how this all pans out. Of course, top lane, you are going to have Molasses and Marbleu laning with each other. They're going to be up against SJ and, of course, our Monkey King. How do you pronounce that, John? Ukiyo? Is that how you pronounced it?
Yeah, Ukiyo, or I don't know, Ukiyo, because if you think about like the Japanese printing, it's Ukiyo-e, but you pronounce it like Yukiyo-e? Ukiyo-e. I'm not sure anymore. I forget my art history. Ukiyo, I guess. That's how Lizard would pronounce it. I'm just writing that down.
Right, you've confused me more than before I asked the question, John. Thank you for that. Marbleu is taking a lot of damage here on this Phoenix. He might actually just die. SJ? One more? Nope, Fairy Fire will be there. Wolves will even be out to back Marbleu up, and he's going to be forced to salve up. Kind of the hard start here for Meteor Gaming at this top lane is the fact that this Silencer is going to have a little bit of free reign, right? Like, there's not much in the way of stopping this guy from just hitting you.
Yeah, he can just harass pretty well. He's getting some good spacing out for Gem to just freely farm on Ukiyo. So it's just going to be able to build up, no threat. You feel better here on level 3, but you have a greedy 4 in the Phoenix, so Marbleu's going to have to soak up along with your Lycan, which can be a little bit slower. I mean, he has his level 2 up, so he can at least spam out some of those Fire Spirits. SJ still has the 3 Mangoes to play with, so he's not going to feel too bad in that lane either. I won't see how that lane equalizes. For now, a much better time for Ukiyo, and it should just be a good time until level 5. Should just be steady until that point. Taking a look at the mid lane here with Totoro up against Echoes on the Storm versus Puck. This one, again, we've seen this multiple times before. It's a little bit less common now. In the laning phase, it is quite a fair bit easier for the Storm to clear out. Just play with the Remnants, keep harassing out with the Overload. The Puck, he doesn't have as much reach or as much uptime and harassment with the Illusory Orb. So you have a lot more room for Totoro to dish in and clear out the wave faster in comparison. That is reflecting in the CS. So it's going to be a little bit dicey for the Puck until Dream Coil's up. Maybe at that point you start to tie in with your support rotations. One thing about the draft from Meteor, though, is it's like you said early, they don't really have control on their supports. Like, outside of Dream Coil coming out, like, even if a support rotation comes in, they can't set up themselves. All they can do is like follow through and try to dish some damage out on that control from the Puck.
Right. How about that bottom lane? There's one lane we haven't really talked about yet. You're going to have TZ and M against Tax and, of course, DQQ. I mean, for now, it seems like the Prophet's not having too rough of a time, though M is finding complete free farm here on the Doom. So not as many denies as you would hope, I suppose, from Tax, but yeah, it is kind of hard against the Doom, though. High base damage. Devour is top lane. They do already secure First Blood. Ukiyo able to secure here onto Marbleu. So the Phoenix is going to end up dropping. It's a pretty decent start for iG.V.
They just get to run down. And like, the one thing with Lycan is it can't really, again, set up for the Phoenix. The Phoenix can't set up for the Lycan. So you're just kind of poking and prodding. That is where Monkey King kind of shines, especially while Fire Spirits are down. So you do have slightly stronger lanes coming out here for iG.V. And you're not stopping Molasses from farming, but that little pickup does help to build up a little bit more in Ukiyo. And they're doing a good job of just maintaining a pulse, keeping creep equilibrium in weird spots. So it's a lot less straightforward for the Lycan to just stand and farm. And just trying to do what they can to stall out in that Dominator into Overlord timing for Molasses.
I mean, I still don't think it's going to be too bad. Like, they're trying. It's just hard when you got the Pharaoh Impulse, just the constant regen coming in from Molasses. You don't really have the burst potential for the Lycan in this game, at least for the laning stage, so it's going to be freely farming up. That bottom lane, though, I was talking about this earlier, but M's having a really good time on the Doom. He's actually going to go for a Ring of Health build-up as well before he bothers for the Midas, which is perfectly fine. You just want the sustain here as the Doom is. They're actually going to go for a jump in. Tax, sticking around, but with the Ench around with the Siege Shot and the cancellation with the Infernal Blade, he is going to drop. Pretty massive pick-off here for Meteor Gaming now. And I don't think the Prophet was quite expecting the Infernal Blade to be leveled up, but M has no hesitation. He goes right for it. Meanwhile, top lane, SJ's going to be okay. Ukiyo being blocked off here by Molasses is still going to get through and is going to find the kill.
Managed to rip in. Overall, a little bit bigger coming out from Meteor. You're much happier keeping the NP down. Molasses is starting to get zoned out, though, and Ukiyo is just pushing forward.
I mean, he might have the kill here. John Boundless Strike is up in 1. He just needs to wait for it and not miss, and he does secure. But Molasses is still trying, but will not be able to save himself. Ukiyo, such a dominant start on the Monkey King already. 3-0-0 is mid lane. They're trying to make a jump in onto the puck. Silence was there, and with the zip in, Totoro might just have him, though Echoes tries to just get away but cannot. He will drop to the storm. So the only lane really going well right now for Meteor is the bottom lane. The mid and top lane have been a real disaster for them.
Yeah, they've just bled out a lot on the side, especially top. Top is the big issue right now. Ukiyo can go for like that faster build-up we're talking about and play tempo with his team. That's when it gets scary. Like the Lycan with Dominator timing stalled, your Overlord timing is going to be stalled out a little bit as well. Your Puck, the build-up for Echoes is going to be similar. Power Treads into Witchblade, and that's also going to be pushed back just a bit. You are keeping Tax down. Again, you're kind of playing for the long con here on Meteor. Like, as long as you get Midas, you start farming up in your Doom. You start to hit level 6 on your supports to tie in with the Dream Coil. That's when things can get spicy for you. Until that point, these wider engagements are just harder.
Oh, Echoes. Mid lane, once again, they'll move in. Dream Coil committed. Echoes still getting caught by the Impale is going to drop. DQQ setting up to ensure it. Even Tax shows up now. They do kill off SJ, but everyone else is falling. TZ, the final survivor, is going to be able to walk away. But now with Tax here, they might actually pressure the mid-tier 1 tower a little bit.
They've got the numbers to kind of sustain that pressure. They don't have the healthiest amount of mana for Totoro, so I don't think it's too safe for him to stay, but they'll get a bottle top-up from SJ anyway with a TP in. That should be more than enough to keep him in that lane. And Sanwoo Marblu is just kind of coming in to soak up himself. A 2-6 start, iG.V in a very good position right now in the game, as every lane in coming out their way. You see the farm difference right now. Oh.
Marblu, he's going to get silenced mid-Icarus dive, and he's gone. SJ with this last word, he's making life so hard for Meteor. There's orb forward, but DQQ. Double Impale is out. Zip forward. There's going to be a bit of a silence here onto Totoro, but he's just going to chase down TZ instead and finds another. SJ to take that one. As Echoes does make his way out, but man, it's a really rough time.
It is. It's just falling apart right now for Meteor in the laning phase. They even find another kill onto Molasses as well. Ukiyo, he's allowed to just build up so quickly. He might actually be going... Could it be Radiance Monkey King coming out? I mean, the timing is good. So I guess it's fine. You know, maybe don't mind it as much. If the
I don't
timing's
think
good.
it's too bad. Yeah,
I'm just traumatized. Like, let's say the Radiance
I
comes
get
in
you.
and then you don't play tempo with it. You kind of lose ground a little bit. Then you're asking yourself, why did my Monkey King go Radiance? You know, that's one of those things.
That's
You have
true.
to play with that advantage. You have to really use it to its max potential. Group up, farm, be highly efficient on the map. Marblue,
Is probably just dead. They got the last word off. He cannot Icarus dive away anymore.
Yeah.
He will die. It's a tough time for the old Phoenix, and this is something that I didn't even consider during the draft phase, right? Is like, you can't Icarus dive as long as the last word is up. You will just die every time.
Yeah.
And, well, in the meantime, top tier 1 tower is going to go down. Tax making some very early rotations to make sure these objectives are being taken. Mind you, again, his bottom lane didn't go amazing on the Prophet, so he is finding ways to be effective on the map. Of course, that has left the Doom to free farm, but this Monkey King's just ahead of him anyway. Like, yeah, now he's got the Midas, he should start slowly taking over, but it just feels like with the start that iG.V have had, there's just no slowing them down, surely. In fact, Marblue, he's alright this time. Molasses is going to show up in the wolf form, going to chase down SJ, but he just TP's out. He's fine.
There's a severe lack of control. I mean, you only really have Dream Coil and I guess the Supernova to count on, but yeah, Supernova's not going to pop any TPs anytime soon. They will at least be able to find his mid, so that opens up map control a little bit better. You drop your top tier 1, but it's not really a big objective to lose at this point. You still have good triangle control and some vision. So this does give Meteor a little bit more of a safety net to just keep their farm game going. So they are still trying to get that build up. Like Molasses has the Dominator, needs the Overlord to be up.
Totoro having a great game on the Storm. Considering the laning stage he's had, 5-0-2 now. He could, the Storm's doing whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, he's just got complete control. Again, it's a very free game for him. There's just no stuns, nothing to be scared of outside of a coil from Echoes. So when you catch a support, they're just dead. They're easy food and pickings for that Storm. 2-11 for iG.V. And they're just keeping up that aggression. And this is something we need to see them do. Execute on these timings, play fast. Ukyo, he is going for Echo Saber as well, Mike, which I feel a lot better about because I don't have to try to justify the Radiance. And again, it lets you play really aggressive. They're going for a push in the bot tier 2. And it doesn't look like Meteor are ready to defend. I mean, they're TPing now.
Oh, Marblue, he's here, but DQQ's waiting in the Vendetta as we speak. They know someone's going to show up.
Oh, boy.
They saw him. It's a real shame right now. I don't want to question Marblue, but I'm not sure what the TP was for in the first place because nobody was there to back him up.
Yeah, maybe he just wanted the Fire Spirits and slow it down. I mean, at that point, it just didn't look like you could. For sure. For iG, I mean, this is 12 minutes in. They have a tier 2, they have Outpost, they have Echo Saber up on Ukyo. So your Monkey King can just come in and fight. You've got Global Sounds ready to go as well. You have all your control ready. And the side of Meteor, they're not.
Global Silence pop. That is going to be some wasted ulti kind of being thrown out as they were trying to chase down the puck. SJ could not get the silence in time to stop the rift away with the orb. Rather the jaunt away. They are going to smoke up off the back of this. Now, mind you, all these other fights that have happened have been without silence. Without Global Silence, that is. So, is it going to make a difference if it's down? I'm not sure. But they're going to try and make something happen. SJ is in position to break the smoke here as the silencer. Totoro right behind him. They'll get some D wards off. SJ still in position to tank the gank. Is going to cop the Dream Core here. And it seems like he'll just happily die. Though I say happily, he is still alive. He will finally go down. But that took a lot longer than you would hope for a POS 5 silencer, as now M's being chased down. He seems to be very well aware that there is some Nyx assassin stalking him at the moment. So he will leave him be. Just run his way out of there. But at 3-12 with a 1k advantage the way of iG.V, the only saving grace right now for for Meteor is the fact that this Doom is farming very well.
Yeah, you're getting the build-up you'd want on going for the BKB next. He's fairly well protected. Map space is going out to him. You are stalled out on Molasses' timings, and that's where it can kind of feel a little bit painful. Like this Lycan's just a non-factor right now.
TZ. Gonna have to back up with Molasses to come in. Last word was there, but TZ, I believe, will barely survive through it, and will. Meanwhile, with the wolf form, they are going to find SJ, and this time around, with Molasses there, it will not take anywhere near as long. So there you go, SJ getting killed off a second time here. And that is going to allow him to get to the home of the Overlord timing on the Lycan now. So Molasses has hit a very nice timing on this item. Just see if they can take full advantage of it, because Meteor, I feel like they've got to really take any advantage they can get right now.
Yeah, I mean, those are... It's not the biggest kill, but you're feeding off, you're catching up, you're equalizing the farm on Molasses quite nicely. Like, he is bottom network core. For him to find these kills is huge in terms of trying to just get up and running, try to equalize the game a little bit more. You can't afford to really bleed out. Like, you don't want to give openings out to Meteor, right? If you're iG.V, you're in a good position. You have a lead, but it's not really massive. You have this map control that needs to be compounded with a mid-tier 1 take, and they are starting to commit into it, but the Fortify is more than enough to stave him off. They might get another rotation out, but I don't know if killing TZ really counts for too much value anymore here. They see Molasses,
they could find Molasses. He's a much bigger target. Molasses, gonna be spotted, gonna be stunned up. Zip is there. Molasses doesn't really have a good way out of this. He'll pop the Howl, but he is gonna drop. Pretty big pick off here for iG.V. The thing I'm starting to question, though, is I keep looking back at this Doom, and he's getting to that point where you start to get a little bit afraid if you are iG.V. Like, he's got the BKB up, going for the Blink Dagger up next. And there is going to come a point very, very soon where I think M's going to start joining in with his team, and with the Doom up, you won't have too many issues securing some kills.
Yeah. Again, early on, you're only going to be able to do one, so you're more than likely just looking to pin down Totoro, unless you can just kill him off in the Dream Coil early, then use that Doom on someone else. We also still have the combination for Meteor ready to go. Dream Coil plus Egg. We haven't seen it come out yet. That's their ace in the hole here for these team fights. That's their one big counter movement to answer what iG.V has. So far, they haven't had the need to force it out. And again, you could argue this is still a bad position for Meteor. You're slightly behind in net worth with a Doom Midas. At the same time, to be only this far behind, up against iG.V, considering the kill deficit, it's still a playable state. Like, look at Echoes and Molasses. Their farm, it's about 900 behind Totoro. It's a significant amount, but not enough for, like, a major item advantage early on. So you still have yourself in a position to play.
He was under vision for a moment. Now they'll see him in the Nyx. They'll try not to react. They'll just kind of walk away, not revealing the sentry ward is there. Meteor still more than happy to play the avoid game here with iG.V. It's a game of cat and mouse between these two. I think they really want that Blink Dagger up on M before they really get together as a unit. So once you have the Blink set up, in fact, I say that, but they're going to go anyway. Maybe just rely on the Dream Call to take down the Storm. I don't think the MK is going to be as big of a problem. As long as Totoro's down, you're not going to be as concerned about everything else. They may not even have the opportunity to fight because they're going right towards the T2 tower. So Meteor Gaming, they'll just start pressuring and hope that iG.V come to them. Mind you, in the meantime, Tax has now got a full Gleipnir up on the Prophet, and you do have a full BKB now available on Ukio. So maybe they are prepared to fight.
I think they're ready to kind of dish it back. With the BKB up, a lot of your output, a lot of your control from Meteor just fade away. So it's going to be a lot easier for the Monkey King to just stand there, use the Wukongs, play aggressively on top of it. Side of Meteor, just trying to look for that top tier too. They do have the Overlord, so they've got the Thunderhide creep, they can buff it up. But here comes the Smoke Wrap from iG.V.
Yeah, they're going to try for something after getting that mid-tier 1 tower. So it does feel like this smoke is quite obvious here from iG.V, but it may not matter because Meteor Gaming may not be in a position where they can really fight this one. They have nice vision in this jungle, though. I believe they saw DQQ there for a moment. So iG.V will be forced to fight underneath their vision, as now they will realize TZ immediately dewards the sentry ward that was placed. And Meteor, they were trying to bait them forward to go for the fight, but doesn't really pan out the way they could have really wanted. Instead, though, iG.V dragged them to their own vision now. TZ looking to deward that, and he gets away with it. There's going to be no jump.
Conservative play from iG.V. I get why you'd play a little bit safer. At the same time, you don't want to allow build-up here from Meteor, because they are building up. Like, you look at he's going for Octarine, and it's going to be scary once he hits that mark. We haven't seen have to commit a Doom as well. We haven't seen the Dream Coil Egg. Like, these are scary factors in the fight for iG.V. They didn't go for like greedy build-up in Ukiyo, which again signals that you want to play aggressive, but their aggressive play has mainly been on really more of the supports than any cores. Like, outside of those laning kills, especially in Molasses, there's not been anything onto these cores.
We'll jump in. Mid lane. SJ has been caught. That'll be the silencer gone. Tax will reveal the Gleipnir on the Prophet, but not going to be anywhere near enough to deal with the Overlord creep, so they're going to start just pushing into tier 2 mid tower. Meteor Gaming, like, once they've hit their timing, they just want to start taking objectives, and that's exactly what they're doing. Mid lane, Totoro will go for a zip TP away. Echoes. Oh, he won't see him. It's too late. So Meteor Gaming back towards the T2 mid tower. It's very clear iG.V do not want to fight. Maybe just seeing how farm the Doom is, they are not feeling prepared for this. So I say that. Ukiyo does TP into the mid T2 tower, but we'll just go right into the tree dance. And the T2 is basically just gone. Pings out on Molasses. Boundless Strike is there, but the jump in immediately. I'm just trying to go after the Nyx Assassin. They have lost Molasses though. So they might find DQQ, though he is still surviving just a little bit longer. The Nyx Assassin proving to be very slippery, as now the coil will come out. They have caught the Prophet with that, but they are not engaging. Meteor, they're looking to back out of there. So without Molasses around, they feel like maybe they're lacking a bit of damage, and well, that'll be about it. They'll back off, they'll lose the Lycan, but they got the T2 mid tower.
And you find the objective you're looking for, you open up the top jungle for much more farm. At the same time, it feels like you missed out on maybe a play opportunity. With Dream Coil down onto 2, Supernova might have been able to be something that you expend. You look to try to force the pressure, find some kills, but they play it safe. Again, I understand why Meteor is taking this more conservative approach. With a Doom up, you don't really have the need to go early. You have the scaling. Your Lycan can kind of itemize for damage as well down the line. And now they can go into Roche. They know Global Silence is down for quite a fair bit of time. They can still melt it fast with the output of TZ, with Molasses around as well. It doesn't take too long. No vision here from iG.V to actually watch a pit. They get the scan off. They need to try something.
Too late. No chance of getting them there in time, surely. Totoro won't have the mana pool for it. Roshan freely going to go the way of Meteor Gaming. Echoes to pick that one up in the puck. You are buying a bit of time for Ukiyo to get the farm up on the MK now. Like, he is going towards the Desolator, but it's still a whiles away. And it seems like Meteor Gaming should be able to apply more pressure before that Deso does come up. And even if it is up, like, you've got an Aegis now in your park. So things could get a little bit more challenging for iG.V. It's really kind of sad considering the amazing start they've had, but well, perhaps now with all these BKBs coming out, like Totoro's about to pick up a BKB, they get one onto Tax, they already have one on Ukiyo, so maybe with the 3 BKBs up on their 3 cores they'll want to play, but there is going to be a 3-man smoke in the meantime from Meteor. They do head into the mid lane. SJ once again is in position to break the smoke, but actually backs off, so they're going to find Tax instead, perhaps. Pings are out, they know where he's gone. They don't have a blink available on Echo, so he has to walk the old-fashioned way, but Tax seems to know they're right behind him because he does back off at the right moment. They will not catch him out.
A little bit of a missed opportunity. It's the side of iG.V to just get played safe. They don't want to have to force themselves into this Aegis, despite the triple BKBs. Like they understand there's still a little bit of a threat out for Meteor. At the same time, with triple BKBs, it does feel like it's iG.V's fight to take now. Like your farm distribution's a lot sharper with Tax and Ukiyo. Totoro's in a pretty decent spot as well. Like they've given an opening for Meteor to just play this war of attrition now. Because they take all these outer towers. They've got some control. They've got some reach onto the triangle. And they try to run here.
And they'll always start with SJ. Every single time M sees the silencer, he just jumps in without hesitation. Like, he knows he can secure the kill without committing doom at all. So easily, in fact. They just take the silencer kill every single time they can. Just ensure the global silence is not available. And then iG.V just can't fight. Like, there's just no fighting after he's dead.
Yeah.
In fact, Totoro, I say no fighting. He just zipped right into molasses. But he's still got plenty of mana, though. So he should be okay. They do spot him out, and M is chasing him down. Long zip away, but Totoro still showed on the creep wave, so they know where he is. They're just going to guess where he is in the tree line now. And M, he's going the right way, but a nice zip from Totoro. Just barely enough mana to get to the other side of that little cliff. And it's going to be enough as top lane. In the meantime, they have caught out the puck. That'll be the Aegis gone.
That's a big pickup. You've got the control already when you sneak around on this Nyx. No need to worry about that secondary life on Meteor. At the same time, Meteor weren't really being aggressive that much, right? Like they were sitting back, they were farming, they were trying to secure their position with that Aegis. They have a slight net worth lead now on their end as well. And as long as you don't actually die in echoes, once you hit that blink timing, pinning down the puck becomes a hell of a lot tougher. Like he's going to be the mobile front line. You can rely on much more big play dream coils to establish those Nova combinations on top of. And that's where things can get a little bit spooky for iG.V if you're not careful. Almost feels like they have to protect SJ, although.
They're moving around to that Prophet. Doom was committed, but it seems like that's not the fight they want. So this is going to back off with the BKB TP away. So iG.V, they can happily jump in. TZ is gone. Now Mar Blue forced to try and Icarus dive out, but Totoro can just constantly chase him down, forcing out the egg usage. But obviously it is going to get bursted. Double kill for the Storm now. And so they force a fight. They kind of mess up a little bit, and then it's just, if the initiation isn't right from M, it's just all over. They just can't fight anymore.
Yeah, he was also pretty preemptive with the BKB. Doesn't wait for Global Sense to come out online first. So, it doesn't quite work. Tax?
I mean, Tax is going to try. Like, they know that Doom is down, so he's kind of a sitting duck right now. No BKB either, and M's gone. That's kind of a huge pickoff to just casually happen like that. But it does. Tax finds it.
It's just awkward for Meteor. They're forcing these fights oddly. They go for that Doom play without echoes around to commit the Dream Coil. So they don't have that setup for the egg. It feels disjointed. Like they want to go for these pickoff plays, but they don't respect that. iG.V also have really strong pickoff and counter control, arguably more than what they have in Meteor right now.
Towel out. They found the Phoenix. Zip in immediately from Totoro. Keep in mind the egg was already down, but they just burst him down anyway. Meanwhile, Coil committed from Echoes defensively to try and back off as Molasses is trying to at least pick off DQQ and does have him now. Ukiyo actually dropping very low on the Monkey King. Still trying to fight this one out with the Jingu, but everyone else is leaving. It's Ukiyo versus the world. He's got one.
What?
He's got a second. He might keep fighting, but no, surely goes down now. He'll take two with him. SJ and Tax gonna finish off the Doom. And then this Monkey King, he just manned up. He said, screw it, I'm going all in. And it works out.
Yeah, he just stands and fights, and I'm surprised that you kind of tried to take that fight on the Lycan. You're just not tanky enough to cop through all those Jingu stacks built up. And the output from the rest of your team just wasn't there. They get big punishment out on iG.V. You still find some good kills on Meteor, but it's not enough to compensate. Lead definitely in iG.V's favor now. Full AC up and running for Tax. So even more protection from that same play coming out from Molasses. He'll have his own counter and his own AC coming up next. But the 5k lead established for iG.V, they're in a good position. The side of Meteor, it's so weird. It's like they're coming in one by one, right? Like they're forcing these fights. TZ.
Yeah, jump in, and TZ's just in the middle of nowhere at the moment. And just maybe not expecting them to be hanging around there, I suppose, but a bit of an awkward position there for TZ.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest here to lose, but again, you're giving away a lot in these small kills, in these small pickups for iG to play off of. You've got good farm in Totoro, you've got good farm in basically every core, and you are starting to ramp up.
Jump in from Blue. Blue just trying to get towards his carry right now. Probably not going to jump in though to save him. He's taking a bit of a long time. In fact, never mind. They're jumping in. They're trying, but Tax got the BKB off and M's in trouble. They've got the egg down. He'll try for a TP up, but no, the bash is there from Ukio. Oh boy. And suddenly for Meteor, it is all falling apart. This draft, like, everything was looking good in the mid game when they hit their timings, but now they're just so split apart, and if they don't get the right Doom target, the game just, the fight's literally over. They can't keep going.
Yeah, it's not really hitting the mark anymore from the side of Meteor. They're looking for more.
They jump in. Impel set up here from DQQ. That's going to be your inch gone as... Oh, they actually jump in with the puck. Spike Carapace was there. He'll be able to just jaunt away though. So at least you get a Wukong's command kind of wasted here by Ukio. To be fair, I don't think he really cares so much. It's not that big of a spell to throw out.
Yeah, you don't really mind. You just get the pick off you want, get control of the map, wait out this next Roshan, a 10k lead now for iG.V, and they've looked sharp this game. Like, maybe bleeding out a couple of kills that they shouldn't have early on, playing a lot more passive than you'd expect this lineup to. It pays off in the end, as Meteor were the ones to really force the issue onto some of these fights. The execution just falling a little bit flat out here from Meteor, and iG.V just punishes that so well. Full Satanic up on Tax, along with the AC and Leipnir and the BKB. He's feeling great on the NP, and playing more like the Pause 1 here. Whereas Ukio is like the utility Monkey King. He's got the Basher, he's got the BKB, got the Deso. He can amp up damage, but he's not like the big farming core. And I think that's fair. It does lead to a really good farm distribution across everyone on iG.V, allowing them to hit their timings really well. Whereas for Meteor, it's still a waiting game. Like, what are your next power spikes here? It's going to be Octarine Doom, lower cooldown, Ag's Doom as well. Maybe the level 25 for Puck, which is a ways off for Echoes.
Meteor, they're going to try and go for a smoke rotation, though they have already caught out the Nature's Prophet. It's a decent start here, but M's not doing enough damage here. He needs to keep going. He's going to keep trying. Maybe they do have the Prophet, but they've lost the Doom. Oh, now the Egg's in trouble. No way it finishes. TZ will also drop. I mean, it takes that long to deal with the Prophet. This game might just be over. I'll be frank, as now they found the puck. Echoes should be able to jaunt just fine and will. But your Pos 1 is just not having a game anymore. It's not enough.
No, it's certainly not. Like, they get the egg off again without the protection of Dream Coil, I suppose, at this point with the BKBs. iG.V have nothing else to pop their BKB for but the egg and Dream Coil. So you really don't mind. Like, there's no other threat. And the team fight combination coming out from Meteor just isn't there. iG.V, and they're playing sharp. They've got a good understanding of what they've got to do. Yeah, you dropped your biggest net worth core. Kind of hurts, but it's not the end of the world. You maintain a 10k lead. You look at Dota Plus right now, 12 to 88 in favor of iG.V. So the team is starting to skyrocket. Like, this is the best I've seen iG.V play throughout this tournament. It looks solid. Octarine done on So you have lower cooldowns on that Doom. More usage. He's going for the refresh next. I don't know if I'd like that over the Ags. I feel like this game just changes so much when you get Dream Coil plus Doom Ags on. And that feels like that's the control. That's the play to protect the egg, to get some team fights. It's going to be a while until that point, and until then, Roshan, Looks to be free for iG.V.
I mean, they're going to try and fight at least with Mar Blue, but Mar Blue just stands no chance of surviving the initial onslaught. So that's going to be Aegis and Shards to go the way of iG.V. So they'll give Totoro the Shards, give the Aegis, of course, over to Ukyo. It's just like, who do you aim now? Like, all three cores of iG.V are just massive. And sure, maybe the double doom fixes something for your team, but even that might not be enough, I'll be frank, John. Just like they doomed the Prophet last fight around, and you saw how long it took to actually kill him. And by the time he was dead, the doom was gone as well. Like they basically just died at the same time. And it's just not good enough if you're Meteor Gaming, because you've got nobody else that can really carry the game. On their heroes is TZ. He's probably just gone. They have a Gleipnir to lock him down if they need, and there you go. He's just dead.
Just trying to make what space he can. And just drag them away from your cores that are still farming up here on the side of Meteor. iG.V just on a roll, 9-30 right now. 34 minutes in. For Meteor, it's still a matter of a waiting game for them. Like, Molasses is still finishing up his BKB. It feels so late for that to come in. But that is still going to be a massive help in these fights.
Global Silence pop, top lane. Mar Blue is still going to get the Icarus dive off. Ukyo never really got the boundless strike he wanted. Meanwhile, Tax ends up dying bottom lane, as they might eventually find this Doom. But no, he's fine. He just blinks and TPs. They can't catch him. Tips out. So ironically enough, M finds Tax by himself, but in a big team fight, he can't kill him.
Yeah. It's just one of those things, I guess. Like, in a big team fight, there's much more that also focuses down on the Doom. When you manage to isolate in a 1v1, it's a little bit more manageable. You know, you've got the stats, the pad you hear with the Octarine. You're not going to get immediately bursted down. And as long as your devouring is up, the bonus armor is more than enough to keep you alive at this point in the game. And they keep themselves in that game a little bit longer. 10-30, 11k leagues, still looking good for iG.V. They still have the Aegis for 2 minutes, 40 seconds more. Full Abyssal more than likely being finished up here now as well. And Ukyo. There's a Moon Shard now as well. So he hits like a massive truck with that Abyssal up. MG, they have to be a bit cautious. Mar Blue already spotted. Does have an Aeon Disc. Totoro should be able to just chase him down though. He's a little bit low on mana, but it's not going to prove to be an issue. Though mid lane, Ukyo is going on his own. He is currently surrounded by 4 heroes, by the way, here, John. Pops the BKB, and they don't want to bar him. He's out of there. He still has the Aegis. They know that with 2 lives up, there's more than enough time for someone to rotate in from iG.V. So the fight is just sort of untenable for them to keep up. Now you're getting more protection coming in here as well in iG.V. Lincoln's up on Tax. So you can't just doom up the NP. You're going to need to break here as well. Easier said than done for the lineup of Meteor Gaming so far to kind of get that. At the least, you know, they find a nice neutral item for Echoes. Quick charm up, the park is going to feel a lot slipperier to lock in. But you're just losing objectives. Like, there's no defense to come out. 10-31, 14k lead for iG.V. And iG.V, again, like, this team has looked so up and down in the past. This is a really good look for them right now. If they maintain this, if they maintain this understanding, this coordination, and they look good in this series. So far in game 1, shaping up their way. Meteor look a little bit lost. Maybe just down to the draft. Like, this was an early phase pickup on the Doom. They go for a Phoenix Enchantress support duo that doesn't make any plays on their own. And Echoes just doesn't manage to run away with a mid-start.
They are hunting now, iG.V. Mid lane, Meteor Gaming. I mean, they know something's up, but they're going to go for a counter smoke. Oh, Ukyo, smoke broken. He's going to see Mar Blue. He'll just jump right in. This is with his BKB available. Looks like they've already found the puck. Echoes is gone. And now the Doom's out. M's trying to at least burst down the MK. He'll refresh as well. That's going to be the Aegis down. Now the Doom out onto the Storm, but he's doomed himself through the Lotus. And they might just deny off the Storm. So M does get the kill in the end. But with the Doom committed on himself, there's no way out. One final piece, and that's going to be the end. TZ is down. It's just a hard thing. Like, he commits the double Doom, but the second one just dooms himself, and the fight's over.
Yeah. There's just no coming back into that. They get a good try, but the BKBs just ruined this teamfight combo coming out from Meteor. And they just have no way of stopping it. They're going straight for tier 4s, iG.V. They understand they're in such a strong position. No need to prolong this game. Just try to go for the end game. Try to force some buybacks. Respawns are fairly short, but they don't have their spells. Like, there's no
Yuki is
wolf
getting
form.
baited left and right here, John. Like, his team's hitting tier 4s one moment, the next moment they're coming back to the melee barracks. And then they go back to the tier 4s after he turns around. There you go. Tier 4's down, Ancient exposed. They realize the Doom does now have buyback. It just came available for him, but it doesn't seem like M wants the buyback. It looks like he believes the game's just over. And it certainly is. The Ancient is down.